Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a brand new card making video. Today I am making a birthday card that is slimline and it's black and white with a pop of color. I'm going to be using this super cute dog stamp set. It's called Puppy Party. It's from Trinity Stamps and it has this slimline image that's a row of dogs that I think is so fun, but it's also kind of big. So I don't know if you're like me, but there are times when you're like, I just don't feel like coloring all these dogs. Like, what colors am I going to use? I don't want them to all look the same. And then you have to decide all the different marker colors. And some days that just is too much. So I thought I would do this card black and white with a pop of red. So for my dogs, I'm going to stamp them out with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. It's a hybrid ink, so it has properties that allow it to stay wet a little bit longer. Even so, I am going to repeat stamp it because my Misty allows me to do that. And then I'm going to sprinkle on some clear embossing powder. So this is going to be a black image. My powder wasn't coming out. I couldn't figure out why. The little papery part that seals the jar was stuck down in it. Anyways, I thought maybe you would find that a little bit funny like me. Like, why isn't this powder coming out? Do you have things like that happen to you? I'm sure you do. So now we're melting the powder and it's going to be raised up and shiny and just elevate this image a little bit more than, if it was just stamped in black. So I love that. And now I am going to color this. However, go with me here. I am just using 3 markers that are light shades of gray, T2, T1, and T0. I wanted to give these dogs a little bit of a shadow so they weren't just so flat on the paper. But this coloring is more like mindless coloring. I don't have to think about which color I'm going to pick, what should the dog next to this dog be colored like all those decisions are gone. I can just add shadows and move along through this line of dogs very quickly. Now, my pop of red is coming into play on their tongues and one of the dog's collars. So speaking of the collar, I decided I would make a strip on my card for my sentiment that kind of represented a dog collar. So I brought out the Slimline Strips die set. I'm going to stamp my sentiment on it. It says, "We wish you a yappy birthday." I lined it up on my card just for like a visual reference, so I would have room for the other piece of this collar that I'm going to do in a minute. And then I decided white embossing on here was the perfect touch for my black and white card. So I treated that with my anti-static powder tool and I'm stamping it down 2 times using my clear embossing ink. And then it's ready for white powder. So the anti-static powder tool is really important on black paper because you get a lot of stragglers of white and they just show up really well on black paper. So make sure you don't skip that step. So now it's time to heat this up and melt that powder for my really cool sentiment. It just really pops on there. I love the white sentiment on black paper. It's a classic. All right, so now it's time to glue this to my card. It's going to go right under my row of dogs. And I did use double stick tape and glue because it warped a little bit from embossing and I wanted to make sure that it was held down really well. Okay, for the second part of my dog collar, I'm going to make the tag. And I wanted to put another punny sentiment on there. So I'm going to put rough you, like love you. Right? Does that make sense? I hope so. It's going to go on a red circle and I just want to pick out the right size circle here from my modern embossed circles. This is going to put a little embossed circle all the way around the edge, which I think adds to that feel of the collar or the tag. And then when gluing this down, I'm using a precision tip glue and because these letters from the graham cracker alphabet set are really thin, but they're so good for card making. I use this die set all the time. And what I just did was line up the 2 U's in the center and then it was easy to add the R and the F. Now we're going back in time. I'm going to add an eyelet to this and I'm using eyelet tools. When was the last time you saw these? If you have been a card maker for a while, like myself, you probably have seen these tools where you hammer this one to punch a hole in your paper. I was a little nervous about hammering hard. It had been so long. But I made the hole, then you put the eyelet in and then flip it over. This second tool has a little pointy end You put that in the eyelet and you hammer that, and it kind of opens up that back side of the eyelet, and then you can just hammer it till it's flat. So now we can return to our decade. I normally use my crocodile, but it broke. Let's not talk about me trying to punch a hole in a penny. Let's just put that aside. Okay, next I'm adding a little twine to the top of this. I couldn't decide how I wanted the twine to go, but in the end I was like, let's just go with the bow. If we're going back in time for card making, let's put a bow on our card. So I added a bow to the top of this, kind of like the part that would actually connect the tag to the collar. Like I said, it's representational. So there we go. Rough you, kind of like love you, but a way a dog would say it. My dog kind of does this for treats. For treats, he'll do it. It's very cute. All right, now since this is a birthday card and there are birthday hats in the stamp set, I couldn't resist. I had to add some party hats to my puppies. So there's 3 hats. I stamped each of them with clear ink and embossing it with white. So you can see how good the white looks on the red paper. Really cool for these hats. And I'm just using all those same colors, the black, the white, and the red. So these dies for this stamp set are so cool. It has a die for every single image, even the confetti, all the words. You can bubble cut the words. So it's a good die set to get with your stamp set. I love it that I can have all those dies. I love that. All right, so each of these, not each of the dogs, just 3 of them getting hats because I didn't want to overwhelm it with too much red. Then it's not black and white with a pop of red, you know? All right, let's embellish. I love embellishments. So I have these jelly hearts. These are black licorice. Now I could have gone with red, right? That's traditional. I could have gone with white. It would have been tone on tone, but I don't know why, but I think having black hearts is so cool. So I added black hearts to my card and I just scattered them all across the top, and I think it just adds that little something extra special, just kind of like the tag. You know, I put the silver letters and I did the cord and the eyelet. Those little extra touches are really what makes a handmade card special, right? Love is in the details. So I'm adding this to my black card base. Now, this could present an issue when you open up the card, but there's 2 things you can do. You can use a gel pen to write inside or add an insert. So I'm adding an insert to mine. This is 8 1/4 by 3 1/4, just the same size as my card front panel. I'm stamping down this dog. It's the only dog in the set that's by itself, and the balloon. And now I need to make a couple masks because I want to attach the balloon to the dog's tail, and I want it to just be flat. I didn't want to die cut anything. So the part that I need to mask is really the part like under the dog so that the balloon tail doesn't extend past his tail. And then right here I realized I kind of need a little mask for the bottom of the balloon as well. I thought it would kind of fit in there, but no. So I'm stamping that one. And my tip for cutting out masks, this is some like, this is Heavy Doodle tape. It's like paper tape, but you can also get masking paper. My tip is to cut on the black line when you're doing a mask. Otherwise you could have a space where you don't want there to be a space when you're trying to layer up your stamped images. So now I'm just putting the tail to the balloon in place, and I will pick that up with the door of my MISTI, and it's time to stamp. So ink that up just like I normally would and stamp that down. Now, some people are masters at creating scenes with masking, but I'll be honest with you, it is hard for me to be like, which thing do I mask? Which thing do I stamp first? It goes in the front, but oh, my brain just has a hard time with that. So this is very simple masking for me, and I will have to say I'm quite proud of myself. Oh my goodness. So now I am coloring up this little puppy using my tea markers again, but this time I'm going dark, making him black. So I am coloring one of them, but still sticking with my black and white and red theme. So T8, T7, and T6 for the main part of this dog. And I think he's so fun with his hair going all the way to the ground. It's really cute. And there's like little marks around the dog's tail that shows it's wagging. I thought that was really fun too. And then for kind of his mustachy area, I chose to do that a lot lighter just for some contrast in there. And then we're moving on to red. Yeah, the balloon is so fun to color. So I have R46 as my darkest red color, and I'm just adding that in pretty thick on like a little C shape, and then I'll extend that out with my R29, and then my lightest color is R17, and then I'll just work this one in and really blend out the middle of that balloon. And ooh, I love how it turned out. Really good. I'm going to do the same exact colors on his cute little bow tie because, you know, those are my color choices for this card, and I think it works so good on his bow tie. All right, the last little touch for this is to use my white gel pen to add some highlights, and this really just brings it to life. I mean, look at him with those little dots on his whiskers and highlight on his nose. Yeah, it's magical. I love a white gel pen. This is going on the inside of my card, and you'll see there's a little bit of a black border all the way around. I love that. And now I have a place to easily write my personalized greeting. So there we have it, the finished card. We wish you a yappy birthday. And I had so much fun making this. It was just like a break from the norm of just coloring everything out, and I really enjoyed it. So I hope this gives you some inspiration, maybe for your really big stamps. You could try black and white with like a pop of pink. I love black and white with a pop of yellow is really good. So have fun with it. And I just thank you so much for stopping by. I enjoy sharing my creations with you. I enjoy chatting with you. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I have new card making videos all the time, and I will see you guys very soon on the next video. Happy stamping. Bye.